welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Danganronpa. If you guys missed last episode, we are in the thick of a class trial right now. I'm gonna be honest, I've been stewing over what the answer could be to this Hangman's Gambit between episodes. I still don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the letters that fly by and figure out what H blank I blank could even spell, because right now I'm stumped, and I feel like an idiot. But the good news is, one thing I did actually look at in between episodes is the fact that the time limit we have right now to figure this puzzle out is ridiculously long. I'm pretty sure that it won't always be this long, but we have nearly 6 minutes to figure this out. So, hair? Is it hair? Is it hair? That's right, it's hair! H-A. It's A! What are you? It's A. It's A. Alert, concentrating. H-A-I-R. It's hair! What? Wait, do you want me to spell the whole last word? Okay, hold on. If you shoot the wrong letters in the Hangman's Gambit, you'll take damage. If your influence gauge reaches 0, you will fail. Okay. I don't understand because it's hair. It's hair. It's hair. It's hair! The lint roller! The hair! It's hair! Oh, I don't know what I'm doing wrong! Oh, I have to spam shoot it. Hair!
Now I understand.
I understand! There was no fucking hair!
That's right. There wasn't a single hair on the floor.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime...
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Ha ha ha! Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then, Makoto isn't the culprit?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying!
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
Yes.
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
Yes.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Okay, here they
Do
come.
you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene?
Yes.
Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
They sure
What
did!
do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
The killer struggled getting into the bathroom, and the evidence that proves it is the object the killer broke. Yeah, it's the wrist! They broke her wrist! Oh wait, no. This. Present.
I got it!
I got it! It's the fucking
Evidence
knob!
that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
Bathroom doorknob, you doorknob!
The doorknob for my bathroom.
Duh.
It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Did we just take a picture of it, or?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
Oh, isn't
You
there?
still don't see? Okay then, let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. I almost didn't notice it at first, but is that the key point there? There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Hell yeah! From here on out, the number of weak spots will start going up. But no matter how many weak spots, there's essentially only one lie or contradiction in that debate. What I'm trying to say is, not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use a truth bullet on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you'll also lower your trust with everyone, and your influence gauge will take damage. Now, this is important because if your influence gauge reaches 0, you fail. You'll have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or contradictions. Well then, good luck and have fun. Are we still on loop though? Because that would seriously help. Bathroom door frame! Yes!
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
That's correct.
She then fled into the bathroom.
Still correct.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
They must have had
At
to
that
shit.
point, the killer had to try and bust down the door.
Huh? What's wrong? If you keep trying to disrupt the trial, you're gonna be put in trial yourself. Son of a bitch! I thought that's where I could be like, no, the killer didn't have to do it because there's a trick to it. Alright. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere. My bad. That's still, yes, yup.
Then the killer ran and they got into the back. At that point,
The killer had to try and
They
bust
didn't
down
have to,
Sayaka
though.
and locked it.
Okay, there you go. That's the one.
That's wrong.
You're wrong! It was unlocked, you piece of shit! So sorry about before, everybody.
The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I said it was stuck. My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy
Seems like luck to me at this point.
That's not lucky at all.
Oh, it's gonna prove my innocence, pal.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
The killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked, so they didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. In other words, the important detail about the scene of the crime that they didn't know was the crime took place in Sayaka's room. The crime took place in my room.
I got it!
I got it! It took place in my
Killer
room!
must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through.
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms? Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
That's not necessarily true. I may have forgotten that we switched rooms. Oh, wait. I shouldn't be arguing that. That's what I've been trying to tell you, you fucking idiots!
Then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up. Quit without saving.
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you...
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
Yeah, it's certainly possible, but that sounds far too convenient, Leon!
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
That's what I'm saying!
Then, maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Because she asked me to do something in particular. Because of how frightened she was. That's the answer right there. There's no way Sayaka let someone in because... where's the one that talks about that she wouldn't open the door? She wouldn't open the door. Because of my room's cleanliness! What? There's no way Sayaka would let someone in because Incinerator. Because Leon. Because switching rooms seems the most... Yeah, I guess this.
I got it!
I got it, maybe!
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
The same goes for you, Sayaka. No matter who it is, don't open your door for anyone. Even if I'm sure it's you, I absolutely won't open it. Otherwise, what's the point of even switching?
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
The hell's this? There's something I want to talk to you about, just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil.
That would have been very convenient to share with the class before.
And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms
now
for a
you've
single
lost
night.
me. What?
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't. But
of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
Then, that note, Sayaka wrote it?
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
Uh-huh.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say?
No, keep it to yourself.
Very well then. Pay attention.
No, you didn't hear me. There we go! What's happening? Make your argument! Alright, dorm nameplates is loaded in the chamber, baby! Let's fucking go!
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note and did what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
The killer went to my room instead of Sayaka's, and the reason for that is, it has to be because of what got switched between my and Sayaka's rooms. Oh,
Sayaka
okay,
and
got it.
Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yes.
But in the note, the place
no.
specifically says, my room.
Okay, that was the wrong one to click. The meaningless words tire me. Stop wasting my time. Son of a bitch, my hearts went down! Okay.
Sayaka and Makoto got in the note.
Yes, correct.
Specifically, I see. Then they would have gone exactly.
The room that Makoto was sitting.
Get that! That's the one, baby! BAM! Break.
The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Correct.
Right?
Okay, then who did it?
There's only one person who could have switched the nameplates. The only other person who knew we had switched rooms. Me!
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
There's something I want to talk to you about, just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
Wow.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
The reason I know Sayaka's wrist was broken with the fake sword is because when you look at her wrist, there's no doubt. What? Yes, Sayaka's wrist.
I got it!
It's got gold on it! What the hell?
All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
Yeah, no shit!
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
What happened in my room? And what led to Sayaka's death? That's what we need to make clear. There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? No? Are you getting used to these non-stop debates? No? Starting with the next debate, I'll start loading multiple truth bullets into your truth cylinder. Just like with the weak spots, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statement. In other words, from here on out, you'll have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak spots to refute each statement. If you come up with the wrong combination, you'll take damage to your influence gauge. You can press the Q key to rotate the cylinder and choose which bullet to fire. Press and release the Q key to cycle through each bullet. Or you can use the mouse wheel. By the way, if the logic difficulty is set to kind, fewer bullets will be loaded into the cylinder. For our purposes this time, the logic difficulty will be set to mean. Well then, good luck and have fun! Oh boy, yes! Set to mean, huh? Public sword sheath, kitchen knife set, replica sword. Okay.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
You're saying amongst all that there was something I was supposed to refute? I'm gonna need to listen through that again, but unless it's like glaringly obvious and I'm just being an idiot, which that's obviously the case, that all seems right to me. If the person with the sword really did attack first, there's no explanation for how a certain part of the sword got damaged.
When the fighting broke out,
right,
the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt.
What am I?
Sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
I missed, but also I'm not convinced.
She tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
Can I, like, take a look at this for a second? Okay. Missing some of the gold coating was part of the blade. The sword handle was missing some of the gold coating, as was part of the blade. Okay. The sword was found out of its sheath on the floor in the middle of the room. I'm gonna have to listen to this and not be under the pressure.
Sword-based sneak attack.
No, that's wrong.
That's wrong, asshole! You ever looked at the sheath? Ah!
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword's sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it.
Oh
like someone cut into it with something sharp.
I'm gonna be completely frank with you guys. I completely forgot about that. Just completely slipped my goddamn mind. Yes, the sheath. Okay, I remember now. Understood. Yes, got it.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, Maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
I think I get it. So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere.
Whoa! So Sayaka baited Leon? Sayaka baited Leon into trying to kill him? Am I understanding this correctly?
Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
That's what I'm thinking too.
How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Part of her body that shows she never used the sword. If you wanted to use the sword, which part of your body would have to touch it? Her palms, her stomach. I'd like to see her
You're
try!
talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it.
Hey, Leon, let's see your palms.
In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
Yeah, that's why!
No, that's not it at all.
Also, what the fuck? There's no way Sayaka washed the gold coating off her hands because there's a certain regulation that talks about what happens in the bathrooms at nighttime. Water was off. She's afraid of water, is the regulation.
I
got it! The water shut
According
off!
to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big, fat, ugly donkey.
Whoa, rude.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
We get back to the
So
point.
anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
One who damaged the sheath would have had to have been the one without the sword. Sayaka. It was Sayaka!
Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
We established this.
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Oh, big oof!
And the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Ah!
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
What?
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Yes.
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
Okay, so the killer was Leon, obviously, but now I just feel bad for him. And obviously he's sweating bullets over there.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true! Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Is it really all over? My friend, if you are referring to the episode, yes, it really is all over. That is the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this episode, please give it a like. If you want to subscribe for other remainder Let's Play, please do so. And also consider supporting me over on Patreon. Links for everything I just mentioned in the description down below. As always, thanks again for watching. And come back next time for probably the conclusion of this trial on Danganronpa. I am so upset! Like, what the fuck? Sayaka? Not much of a very nice assistant! You're fired! Well, you would be if you weren't dead.